Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Slice of Gaming podcast for March 15th, 2025. I hope everyone is having a good day, and we're hoping to make this day even better because we got a pretty fun podcast to go here. Not a lot of crazy big news stories, but just fun trailers that I really wanted to dissect with the crew. With me today are two very special guests. We got Moonlight 150.
Yay, we've achieved special guest. I'm
And
not
we
here enough
got
to be considered a regular guest.
hey, you're always welcome. Just gotta let you know that. And of course, the other very special guest, big man Jat. Jat, how you doing, Jet?
Yeah, it's going pretty well, you know. The things are good, games are good.
Games are always good, man. You gotta look for them, but turns out games are still very, very good. And we're gonna talk a lot about very, very good games. A lot of good, interesting stories. Two very big trailers came out this week. Also, a very, very important game specifically for me got announced this week. A game that I didn't think would exist, so I'm very excited to talk about it. But first and foremost, if you guys want to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much every podcast platform. We're going to be on there. Like the podcast, any type of support helps. Follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming. Let's just get right into it, boys. Death Stranding 2. That's the very first thing I want to talk about. We got a release date trailer. Specifically, it's called the pre-order trailer, which is very funny. This trailer was released last Sunday, if I remember correctly, at a South by Southwest panel, which is very funny. But Hideo Kojima, and he had some actors with him. I forget who exactly was there. I think was Norman Reedus there.
Norman was there.
Yeah, so he's got some names with them, and they were talking. They had like a panel, and they debuted a brand new trailer for Death Stranding 2, a game that since I think there was a TGS spotlight, but it was kind of like a quick little photo mode update, nothing substantial. This is our first like big reveal of the game since the last state of play, which was last year to the date, I think. Very long trailer, 10 minutes long. Kojima loves his long trailers. He loves his trailers. I don't know if you guys knew this. He edits the trailers on his own. Like it's like his big passion, which I think if you watch the trailer, it very much seems that way.
So I made Jeff really gets the idea from.
Yeah, really, exactly. So Moon, I know you watched it when it debuted, I think, correct?
I caught the live stream, like the tail end. I've yet to go back to finish it, so I haven't finished it, but I saw like a good chunk of it.
It's a long trailer, 10 minutes long.
It's a long trailer.
Yeah, and Jad, I made sure you studied up on your homework to watch this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot to talk about. Neither of you have played the original Death Stranding, correct?
No, it's on my list though. It's like I should get to this at some point, at least give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bought it like 3 different times, and I still yet to play it.
I get it. It's a big game. It's a lot. It's a commitment. I feel where it's like you kind of got to clear the schedule. It's like this is the game you're playing for the next like couple weeks. But I am a Kojima stan. Everyone knows that. I love Kojima. I think he is an absolute auteur. And Death Stranding is a game I waited on for a long time, but I finally played it and kind of fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite games of all time now. And this idea of Death Stranding 2 on the beach, I was almost like kind of apprehensive, like, I wonder what you can do with a sequel. Like, I don't know like how you continue the storyline. I really love the way the first game ended. But watching this trailer, I'm like, oh no, that's how. And very interestingly enough, what got me wasn't really like the big story sequences. Like there's a lot of really cool cutscenes, a lot of actors. There's that, I forget her name. That doctor with the 2 right hands. I don't know if you guys remember. She's like in a lot of video games. Like she was in Jedi Survivor and whatnot. Very good actress, obviously. So there's a good reason why she's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, was it Elle Fanning? I know she's
no, not Elle Fanning. It was the doctor. I forget her name. I forget the actress's name, but the character is literally called the Doctor, which is funny. But yeah, there's a lot of big name actors in this trailer, and I just look at it, I'm like, man, I really want to play Death Stranding again. Like not the original Death Stranding. I just want to get right into this game. They showcase a lot of the big environments. Like that's the part that got me really excited because Death Stranding 1, it's very basic with its environmental structures. Like it's a lot of green areas, some rocky mountains. There's a snow section, stuff like that. But this one, like you're getting deserts, you're getting more futuristic areas. Like there's a part in the trailer where you're riding on a bike, which is sick as hell. It's an absolute insane trailer. Like there's like a shot. I don't know if you guys saw it, but like with the moon in the background and like kind of
Oh
normal
yeah.
Mutis is standing out and watching it. It's like it's stuff like that. It's like what I mean about directing in games. I feel like there's not a lot of game directors that really know how to direct their scenes, and Kojima's one of them. That he makes sure that every shot is basically a frame, like something that you could put on your wall. And I absolutely adore that about his trailers. It's why he edits his own trailers, is because like he wants to make sure it's like I got to make sure it's absolutely right. So yeah, I'm 100% in on this game. I'm so excited. June 26th, which is interesting. Me and Fusion were very back and forth about the release date. I said it would be after Ghost of Nyote. Completely wrong, but hey, I'll take the L because I get to play Death Stranding 2 in June.
This is where they drop that Ghost of Yote comes out in May all of a sudden.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
How you guys feeling on the trailer? Jet, you watched the whole thing. How are you feeling?
Oh yeah. So yeah, there was obviously a lot going on, but yeah, it's like you said, Kojima knows how to direct really well, and yeah, this felt like his games. From the vibes I get, they seem like he wants to make them more like experiences than games. If that makes sense. Like he tries
Uh,
to go for
I
like something different. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, it's different. Yeah, I get what you mean. I guess experience. Yeah, no, I get what you mean about an experience. It's very much like I thought you meant like experience more than games. Like oh, he kind of disregards gameplay. I think if
Yeah.
you the gameplay in Kojima games, like he actually really thinks about that in an interesting way, which is why I'm really into them. But I get what you mean about the experience. Like he makes games that like you kind of sink your teeth into, and you almost like it's that feeling of like getting off a long shift and you like just spend like 3 hours like I'm gonna like really sit down and like lights off all that feeling, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah. So that's what definitely interests me about this game, and I mean, a lot of it did seem like there's stuff from the first Death Stranding where yeah, you're still carrying those boxes around, doing deliveries.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, but this time the baby's out of the case. It's now out. It's a real baby.
Yeah, I imagine it's kind of hard if you only have like little no I not too much knowledge of what happened in Death Stranding. You're probably watching this trailer like what the hell is happening.
Yeah. But
Dang.
yeah, I'm oh sorry.
I will say, like, I also, as someone who played through that game, there's a lot of stuff. It's like, what's this in the original game? Holy shit! Like, there is like weird moments for me too, and I kind of dig that. But I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Please go ahead, Jet.
Yeah, so like I definitely want to play the first one right before the second one, and then like because I mean the first off the track in that thing is incredible. Like the in the trailer is incredible, and I heard that they're doing a concert tour, and it's also coming to
Yeah,
Toronto. So I want to get myself immersed in the music, go to the live concert. Yeah,
yeah. They're doing like a whole concert tour. There's supposed to be a novelization of the game, which is very funny. A lot of stuff. They did a big old collector's edition, which is like slightly tempting. Also, interestingly enough, early access. There's going to be a 2-day early access. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, boys. This is the first Sony published game with early
Yeah,
access. Correct?
Fusion and I talked about this after it was revealed, and he's not a fan.
Yeah, no, I never like. I'm kind of on his side about like not really liking early access, but especially for a story-based game like this, it's like, man, the people who play it 2 days early, like they're the freaks. They're gonna like beat that game and start spoiling shit. But
Yep.
Moon, I mean, I kind of want to get your thoughts on the record. Despite not being the Death Stranding player, like, did this trailer kind of get you more interested in checking it out?
I mean, yeah, the actual like little bit of gameplay you actually do see does seem more interesting. It's still Amazon Prime Simulator, but
Oh,
at least
trust me,
from what
we're-
I've seen from the first Death Stranding, there seems to be more to it in this one. Like you have all the vehicles now, which I know I think there were vehicles in the first one.
Yeah, mostly in the director's cut, they added a lot of vehicles,
Yeah,
which
so
added a
this,
lot.
this seems to like feature it more and have it more like prominent. So at least that's more interesting. And then actual combat, like I don't think I've seen any bit of Death Stranding footage from the first game that had actual combat.
It was there, but it was not how you wanted to play. It wasn't very good. So it
Yeah,
seems
so
like this one they're really focusing on that, which is sick.
yeah, so just that bit more by itself of vehicles and some combats, like okay, I'm more interested now. Um, So
Yeah,
now I'm curious to find out, like, could I just play the second one without the first?
trust me, you will not be able to.
It's Kojima, nope.
Yeah, the way Kojima is, it's like none of this shit will make sense if you. I mean, maybe you will still be able to enjoy it, but I feel like the story will be like really tough to get a gauge on.
I need to find that like hour-long video on YouTube. It's like, here's the story of Death Stranding.
Yeah, but man, that's a story you kind of need to experience. I feel like that's one of those stories where even if it was explained to you by someone who is very in detail, you still wouldn't get it.
Probably.
It's very like complex. There's a lot of terms. To the point where like I have problems with like I think Death Stranding is way too term heavy, where they just throw out words and it's like I don't know what that means, man. You gotta explain this to me. But otherwise, I do really like that story, especially there's some really good stuff near the end of that game. But man, it's like it's a very weird game, but kind of what you said about like, oh, Amazon Prime delivery simulator. That's how I felt very much, Moon. It's why I waited so long to play. I'm like, I don't know about this one, Kojima. And I played it, and it's like, oh, it actually works. It's like one of those games that like watching someone play it looks boring as hell, but then you actually play it, it's like, wait, I get it. But also, it's very possible you play it, and it's like, I still don't get it. And I think that's very much a possibility. It's a very
It's like,
interesting. It's a cult movie in a way.
Yeah, I always knew there was more to it than what I ever saw in trailers, and I never actually watched like anybody fully play it. So I knew there was always more to it. I was just curious, like, do I have to get through this stuff that I'm not interested to get to the interesting stuff? Like, how much do I have to go through? And it seems now, at least with the second one, they've said, okay, you don't have to do the uninteresting stuff as long now.
Funny,
So.
I think you will be doing like the quote unquote uninteresting stuff, which to me is the interesting stuff. But obviously, like it's depends on the person. I just wonder like how much combat will be a focus in this next game, because it was a thing of like the combat wasn't the best in the first game, but also you just didn't want to do it because the whole point was, oh, if you kill something, like that part of the map basically is like a danger zone, and it's like you do not want to go near that. So you very much avoided killing people for that reason. And I think it's interesting. It's like, how
I don't think
it's
going to be as big, because literally in this 10-minute trailer, there is like a 10-second shot of some combat, and that is it. So I don't think there's going to be as much.
Yeah, it looks cleaner, but it's also like I still don't know if it's going to be the focus. Also, interestingly enough, if you guys caught the very end of the trailer, the character straight up looks like Solid Snake.
Yes, yeah. There's a whole gap behind him too.
I will say, a lot of people are like thinking, inferring a lot of things. I personally don't think it's gonna mean much, because Kojima does this. Metal Gear Solid 1, there's a character called Meryl, and she looks the exact same as a character from one of Kojima's previous games, Police Knots. So he likes to kind of reference his previous work, but I don't know if it's going to be like kind of a commentary on like, oh, how much he misses Solid Snake and he felt wrong, that type of thing. I think it's just almost more of a nod.
It's just going. That's just him pointing and going, "Hey guys, look what I did."
Yeah, exactly. It feels like that in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very, very excited for Death Stranding 2. I am going to be picking it up. 2 days is not enough for me to want to like pony up the money, especially because
if it was a week.
Physically. Yeah, if it was a week, yes, 100%. But 2 days, it's like, yeah, I can wait. But very, very excited. Cannot wait. Love Kojima's stuff. Moving into our next story, Silent Hill. There was the Silent Hill transmission, which was specifically a Silent Hill F trailer and then them talking for 30 minutes. So that was very funny. But we got some details surrounding it. Genki kind of put it, summarized a lot of the big details here. Set in 1960s Japan, main character is named Shimizu Hinako. Town of, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, it's a Japanese town, is consumed by a sudden fog. Solve complex puzzles, fight grotesque monsters to survive. Psychological horror game written by renowned author Ryukishi 07. Music by Akira Yamaoka, who's the Silent Hill composer. Developed by Neoboards from Taiwan, which is something I want to get back to. And then coming to PS5, Series X/S, and PC. So we all watched this trailer. I'm in.
Sold.
I'm 100% in. I love Silent Hill. And this is like, hey, here's Silent Hill in a completely different setting from Silent Hill.
Yeah, that's my interesting take on this. Like, I hope this is just like a trend of, okay, what if we do the Silent Hill formula, but let's just start going all over the world. Like, We did America with the Silent Hill 2. Now we're gonna do Silent Hill in Japan with F. It's like let's go to like some haunted town in Italy. Let's go to some Spaniard plays, and
because every Silent Hill before this was in the U.S., kind of like in a main Pacific town, like that type of thing.
and have like different time periods. That'd also be good.
Yeah,
like the 1960s is a very interesting time period to pick. So it's very hearkening to like classic Japanese cinema in that way with like old Japanese horror.
Yeah. No, I mean it's very much like more classical Japanese horror, which I find very exciting. It's not really explored as much anymore because I think kind of new wave Japanese horror kind of went in a different direction. But this one seems like it's gonna kind of harken back to what you said about like that 1960s 70s era of horror. I'm super into just the vibe of this game. It looks very creepy. I am curious about Neo boards. This is not a new studio, but I remember their previous games were not very much well perceived. But also, this is
their
the
first game because I
It
clicked
might
on their
have
name on Steam and nothing came up
I mean, I could check real quick, but
except for like
they,
some DLC from a previous game.
yeah, they're self-funded Taiwanese developer. Okay, they did a lot of HD collections, basically.
So it was their first
okay.
real outing.
Yeah. But to me, it's like kind of a case of like, hey, if you have a really good producer at Konami who comes in and says, hey, this is how you do it. This is how Silent Hill works. Kind of instruct the team of like kind of the direction they want to go, the same way they did with Silent Hill 2 remake. I think you're good. And pretty much what I've heard about Ryukishi 07, he did some Japanese horror visual novels back in the day, Higurashi, Umineko, and I've heard very, very, very good things about those. So I'm very excited to see what this could be. Jack, how are you feeling?
So I'm yeah, as you guys know, I'm a big horror fan, like with Resident Evil, Dead Space, Alan Wake, but I still haven't played Silent Hill. And I mean, seeing this trailer, it just feels like something I'd be into, and I'm so looking forward to whenever we do get to see like proper gameplay because all of this was basically CGI, right? And yeah, the premise seemed cool. The ending where the face was peeling, I was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
they're really
it's scary.
yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm super into the vibe. Like to have like just the face peeling off. Like that was like one of my
That
favorite
was
things
like
about
a
Silent
shock for
Hill.
me.
One of my favorite things about Silent Hill is like it's one of the few franchises that genuinely just makes me uncomfortable. Like, oh god, like I'm so into that. I'm so curious to see what the gameplay's like because
Yeah, that's what I was
just
about to bring up. Like, I'm worried because you're a 16-year-old girl. Like,
yeah,
how much are you gonna be able to do? Because if you can't have at least some kind of combat like you did with Silent Hill 2, then you're just a walking simulator.
yeah. It is so basically what I heard, Dust Golem kind of checked around the ESRB. He's a Resident Evil leaker. And he was like kind of poking around and he basically stated it's like, oh, there's no guns. There's nothing
Oh,
like
and full
mentioning
metal
like
pipe.
gun combat. Yeah, so he said it's like gonna be focused on metal melee combat, which I'm curious about because the melee combat has never really been the best in Silent Hill. But I'm also like, if this is kind of like I don't know, like a 5 to 8 hour like adventure, like multiple endings, like you're meant to replay it a few times. You get freaked out, and like you're with minimal combat, like not the craziest combat in the world, but like you're invested in the story and what's going on. I think I'm fine without like the guns and everything. And like Silent Hill has never been like a big combat focused franchise, I guess.
Yeah. But it worked with Silent Hill 2 because at least you're this adult guy who can at least swing around a metal pipe and a board and whatever objects you can use. Yeah, you had you had a couple guns, but they weren't necessary. But at least you could understand like this adult male can defend himself. So it's
Yeah.
just gonna be interesting to see like how do they handle this little girl without it going to like you're jumping the shark and she's now performing, anime battle style moves.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're gonna get anything like that, but it would be funny if the game just turned straight up into like Stellar Blade. Like, oh whoa,
Yeah.
what the fuck? But yeah, no, I think it's very much focused on like, hey, we wanna like center it around this girl, like kind of as a kid in the 1960s, and see like this perspective of a high schooler probably going through some very traumatic experiences because that's kind of the whole point of Silent Hill. it's trauma, it's delving deep into like psychological natures and like how we work mentally. And I'm really into that type of storytelling, and I'm so curious to see kind of how they tackle that from like the teenager perspective. And I want to point out on the website, there's a warning. It's like, please read before playing. This game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence. Game is set in Japan in the 1960s and contains depictions based on the customs and cultures of that times. These depictions do not reflect the opinions or values of the developer or individuals involved. I will say,
like that just sounds like 1960s Japan.
yeah, and I read that. I get excited. I'm like, oh, okay, so they're not like holding back at all. They're gonna go like really crazy, and that gets me excited. All right, well, Silent Hill F. You guys think it comes out this year?
I was about to say, like, do we think? I hope so. Because I want it.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's kind of waiting for the GTA 6 date. And I think that's the case with a lot of games, because it looked pretty finished from what I've seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider this like a CG trailer. I think this seems mostly like it's just
very gameplay.
Cutscenes. Well, I mean, CG in the sense of there's no actual game to this. Like, this feels like in-engine cutscenes.
Yeah, no, fair. Yeah, it kind of tells me it's like this game's pretty far along, but they're kind of waiting to set the exact date.
I am worried that it just says coming soon instead of like just them giving a blank 2025.
I bet it's a case of they want to land in October, but that's very much like kind of GTA 6 territory. So they're like, okay, let's wait for that date to happen first, and then we can kind of like fit around there. But also maybe it's a case of like, hey, we need a little more time, and we're kind of just like waiting to iron stuff out. Because also this is not coming out in August, because that's Metal Gear. It might come out in September, but it's also like, you might as well wait for October at that point. So I'm very curious. Yeah. Jet, are you interested in picking this up day one?
Oh yeah, I definitely am. But yeah, I was thinking about when it would come out, and yeah, like what Moon was saying, like the coming soon means that they're not 100% set on the date, even though it does look far along. But I feel like this might just jump into 2026, but I'd love to be wrong. Yeah, because they're not even confident on the year, right? Like we didn't even see it say 2025.
It says coming soon.
Yeah.
Also, it's interesting that this is coming out on everything. It's not a PS exclusive.
Yeah,
that's not too surprising. I think it's a case of like they were almost trying to get funding for Silent Hill 2 remake, and they saw it really did well. And maybe this one was always kind of meant to come to everything, but they were like kind of fully ironed in. It's like, okay, we saw how well Silent Hill 2 did as an exclusive. Let's just get it everywhere. Very, very excited. Cannot wait. But let's be honest, though. Those two games suck. Death Stranding 2, Silent Hill F, garbage. Because the real game of the year is coming out this year, boys. I was tempted to put this in small news, but I'm like, no, this is big news to me. Powerwash Simulator 2 has been announced. Self-published by Future Lab, coming 2025, or A64 put that out. Now includes split-screen co-op and online campaign progression. Boys, I'm back. I love Powerwash Simulator. It is a game I got way too addicted to. It's a game. You guys ever have those games where you get so addicted to them? Like when you're not playing, you're just thinking about them. Like it's like, I was outside one day, and I saw like kind of the road had a lot of dirt on it. And it's like, oh, I should power wash that. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I love Powerwash Simulator. It is like one of my favorite, like just chill out Zen games. You know, throw on a podcast and vibe. Just I like seeing dirt go away. It's a good feeling. If you're a fan of cleaning, it's a very like almost acquired taste, but it's also like I'd be surprised if someone tries this game and they're not like they don't feel the vibes of it. So.
Yeah, the only way you don't get into something, the only way you don't get into a game like this is if you're strictly like there for, I want fun gameplay and a cool story. It's like, no, you're here to just vibe.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's the story of Powerwash Simulator? Apparently there is,
but it's all like hidden. Yeah, like there's videos I've watched of people like breaking down like the hidden story of Powerwash Simulator that you have to piece together from like all the text messages and everything.
Yeah, no, it's like a really interesting story.
So it makes me you have to bring up the question: why does this exist? Why? Especially because we just got DLC for the first one not too long ago.
So here's my theory: The Powerwash Simulator 1 was published by Square Enix, and we've kind of noticed Square Enix has been like really trying to move away from Western game publishing and stuff, even from their indie side. The fact is, I think Future Lab is almost like, we want to do it on our own. We want to just like self-publish. Our game is big enough. We have enough funding. We can basically handle all that and do the collaborations on our own without having to worry about like, Papa Square Enix coming in and hunkering down or something. Because also maybe Square Enix wasn't giving them enough funding for like other DLC updates, or they were like, we're not as interested in like publishing that stuff.
And they blew all their money on Shrek.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it tells me it's like almost like it's an unnecessary sequel, but I don't care because I love the game so much. So it's like I'll check it out for sure. I do wonder what more they will add other than just new map. It kind of tells me they're just going to add new maps, but
new maps, probably some quality life, because it didn't look visually like much of an upgrade.
Yeah, it looks like Powerwash Simulator, basically. It doesn't look like an upgrade at all, but hey, maybe they add new power washing. I don't know. It's like a weird. It's a weird game. I don't know how you update it almost, but did they have a price tag? I forget.
I don't think so. I could look right now, see if it's even up like on the store.
It's on Steam. I don't see a price anywhere.
No, there's no. Yeah, they don't show price or anything until it's actually out.
Yeah. Dude, I'm already seeing stuff. It's like there's a parade, a hotel. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so addicted to this game.
Oh, looks like there's even. Here's something they're adding is a home base.
Oh yeah,
base building.
Yeah, I'm into that actually. I think that could be cool, especially like just like a sense of progression outside of like just doing the levels every now and then. That's
soapy or washing.
You yeah.
There's actually like soap on the walls. That's cool.
You guys jumping into this, or is this just a me thing?
I mean, if it's on Game Pass, I'll at least get it because then I can just put it on and do whatever. My problem with these kind of games right now is I just don't have podcasts or anything to listen to.
Yeah, these are the type of games you kind of need a podcast or just something to like watch in the background. Maybe I could see like maybe like if it's a show you're not that invested in.
Yeah,
maybe it's like I'll throw on Powerwash Simulator or something, but it's not the most like I'm locked in.
Yeah, this thing, I'm not investing in a game for that for like $40, but like, Game Pass, PS Extra, something like that. I'll definitely be in.
Oh yeah, sure. Same. Because it does look like definitely one of those games where I don't want to be like, like locked in or like too focused on because it's a very chill game and very much one where you listen to a podcast on the side. But yeah, if it's on Game Pass, I'll definitely be play it a little bit because I did play the first one just a bit, and I thought,
isn't it on Game Pass still?
Oh, is it still there? Because I remember it came to Game Pass at one point.
Yeah, that's when I played. I'll check right now.
I will say the co-op of Powerwash Simulator is really fun just because like it's kind of just you shitting the shit with your friend in general and then just power washing in the background. But yeah, no, it's very much like more of a podcast.
It's still there on Game Pass.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I jump into that seriously. And also the DLC was sick because it was Square Enix. There's an FF7 remake DLC. And you get to like clean up like Seventh Heaven. I think you clean an Airbuster. It's like this is awesome. Like I love this. And I'm almost like, give me like I hope they do more video game collaborations. Other than the Shrek stuff is cool.
Like we might not get the collab now because now they won't have like the Square Enix backing.
Yeah, no, that definitely. But like, also, it's like I think the game is big enough now to where they could just go to developers on their own. Is there any? I was kind of wondering, is there anything like video game universes or just like universes like in general that you guys would want to power wash?
I'm trying to think.
Someone brought up the idea of BioShock, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
The entirety of Rapture needs a good cleaning.
Yeah, like cleaning up like a Big Daddy sounds fun, honestly. Like clean up the drill and shit. There's a lot of shit. It's almost that thought now where every game I play, I think, how can I power wash this?
Like, how can I clean off of this?
Honestly,
I look at the picture like inside a train. Oh, that looks good.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
power. Sorry, did you say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way this would happen, but like if they teamed up with Nintendo and you were in Delfino Plaza.
Dude, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. You hang out with Mario, like you
Yeah.
use like a flood and shit. Oh my god, I would kill for that. Anyways, Powerwash Simulator, cannot wait. God, I can't wait, dude.
You think it's this year?
Yeah, they say 2025.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Your soggy 2025 winner.
Yep.
I know me and Bop are like 100% like in on it. I wonder how many other people would play it. I will say it is 1000% going to be in my top 12. I don't see a future it doesn't, unless it's like the best year in gaming.
But now will it be over or under GTA 6?
No, that's the question. That's the question. All right.
Well, first, GTA 6 actually has to come out this year.
God, don't do this, man. We're not doing this episode.
Sorry, I had to channel my inner Jack infusion.
Really? Bunch of haters. Moving into our next story. This is kind of an update, pretty major update actually in terms of release timing for a story that I feel like we've been covering for a while. Bethesda's Oblivion Unreal Engine 5 remake could be releasing sooner than you think. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. Oblivion remake was first mentioned by an alleged developer back in 2023. Now, according to noted insider NateTheHate, who has been kind of on a roll lately, he's predicted the Switch 2, what was it, the announcement. He was like very much on the money there. Pay attention to Nate. He's always been pretty good about his rumors. The Oblivion remake is set for reveal in the coming weeks. A claim VGC has corroborated with our own sources. Nate claims the game will likely release before June, while sources have told VGC it could arrive as soon as next month. Very, very interesting. I don't get this strategy personally. This is a big game. This is an Elder Scrolls game. We're talking about a franchise that had Skyrim sell like 40, 50 million units from what I think the last update was. Very big franchise, and this is a brand new Unreal Engine 5 remake. You assume maybe they're doing a lot to it, but the fact that they almost to the point of doing this as a shadow drop kind of tells me this isn't going to be as substantial as I was hoping. But then we read about the leaks, and a lot of the leaks talk about like, oh, they're overhauling combat, they're taking it closer to Souls games, or like at least take inspiration from that type of combat style. And like, oh, they're reworking like the UI and all that. And it's like, that's exciting, but it's also like, if you're, this is the type of thing I almost think you need to do a marketing cycle for, or you want to do a marketing cycle because it feels like a big release. What say y'all?
And
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like it doesn't at the same time because like you said, it really comes down to like just how extensive of a remake is this.
Yeah.
And because something like an Oblivion shinied up, here's a couple quality of life features, stuff like that. That is a big like play it next week, play it today is really nice, but at the same time, it is like an Elder Scrolls, and you want to boast like, yes, remember we have this property. It's like associate this brand with this product, so you want to have a little bit of marketing cycle and say, remember how good Oblivion was? Well, we're giving it to you again. So it just feels weird. Both sides just feel weird, and it's not going to make any sense until we actually see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm thinking about because it's was it Skyrim had a huge launch, right? Like it's very mainstream. A lot of people know about it. So the Elder Scroll name is already very big and well established. Now like way less people play or know about Oblivion. So like yeah,
I mean, it was still
it would
big, but not to the extent. I get what you
yeah, exactly. It's like it was more like I feel like two different like generations, like age groups played both games, but
mean. Yeah.
yeah, but still, you want to appeal to like the younger demographic that doesn't know about it, and it's just gonna be crazy if they do shadow drop it.
I almost think. Do you guys think the trailer just says from the makers of Skyrim?
Yep.
Yeah. It's like,
As
if you
I'll-
like Skyrim, play this.
Yeah, from the same franchise as Skyrim. Just say that. It's like, oh, I like that. I'm interested. I mean, Bench has really been hyping this up. It's a lot of what he talks about, and I've been really excited too. But it is that question moon, like we were saying. It's like, how extensive of a remake is this? Because I try to go back to the original Oblivion. You know, I can deal with older games. I don't care. But man, that combat is awful. It is not a good game to play.
That was my question, is like, if I liked Avowed, would I be able to like this?
I think. What did you like about Avowed specifically?
The combat.
Yeah, no, that's not it. Elder Scrolls is more about the exploration, just like, oh, what I want to see what's in that cave or look at that world. And also, from what I heard, Oblivion has some of the best quest design in the series. So
Yeah.
I want to
How good
experience
is? Oh, yeah. because one things I really liked about Starfield, well, I heard it's like not the best in this game, but I enjoyed the decision making game system. Is that one good in this one?
Decision making, like the kind of persuasion type deal.
Yes, the persuasion. Okay.
I think that's a mechanic in this game. I think like that's very much more of a thing that's focused on in Oblivion than it was in Skyrim.
Oh, perfect.
Excited.
I don't know. If it's on Game Pass, I'll at least boot it up and give it a shot, like I did with Skyrim before I got a whole town angry at me and then they killed me and I kind of lost interest.
Dude, weren't you stuck on the lockpick for a long time? I'm not gonna let
That
you
was
live
my
that down, man.
original when I first tried to play like years ago.
Dude,
And
that's still one of the funniest stories. People don't know. Moon was like, he played Skyrim, he got to the lockpick, it's like, I don't get it. I just find that interesting.
it just made me realize, like, if this is the kind of stuff I'm going to be doing throughout this game, it's like I don't want to be doing this.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
And then I replayed it on Game Pass last year or 2 years ago, and yeah, I got to the next side village, and I don't know, it just
Did you start beating people
I think
up?
it's that whole open world, like, well, what do I go do now, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I think it's the difference between wanting a more rigid open world experience, like, oh, tell me what to do, versus like the type of open world I like, where it's just like, I just want to go. Like, just let
So I
me
don't
explore.
mind open world where at least here's your main objective over here, and if I'm interested, here's some side stuff. So then if I want to do it, I can go do the side stuff. But at least tell me what to do and where to go if I just want to go do the main stuff.
That's fair. That's fair. Moving into our next story. This is kind of more of a update. I feel like we talked a good amount about it last time. Pokemon Go and the rest of Niantic's game business is being sold to Monopoly Go maker Scopely for $3.5 billion. Jordan Midler of VGC has this. The acquisition will see longtime Niantic game studio leaders Kei Kawai and Ed Wu joining Scopely to continue to oversee the developer's various projects. The deal is said to be valued at $3.5 billion. Niantic, the developer that shot to fame due to the overwhelming success of Pokemon Go, now boasts over 30 million monthly active users across Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter Now, Pikmin, Bloom, and more. There's a whole lot to this story. We kind of went over this a good amount when it was kind of being rumored, I think, by Bloomberg. But now the deal has officially gone through. I kind of asked some Pokemon Go people. I was listening to some people that kind of played Pokemon Go regularly. And I was like, hey, what's the monetization like? Is it going to get much worse? And it was very funny. The notion was, the monetization is already really bad. Like they already, like, the app is not very good. Like the game is not very good now. So I don't know how much worse Scopely could make it. I've heard some very like bad things about Monopoly Go and a lot of like just Scopely. Scopely is Saudi Arabian owned, which is like always kind of a like questionable thing. I am very curious to see what this kind of leads to, but I don't know how much this will affect like just the overall state of like Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter Now, and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have too much to kind of add to that. It's just like
Yeah,
a very
I stopped caring about Pokemon Go and such a long time ago.
Yeah, same. It's been too long.
yeah. I'm curious to Niantic very weirdly. Like, it's just like, we don't want this, and I gotta respect the hustle of like, just take
Yeah,
it.
it's like not only just Pokemon Go, but like everything else that they've done so far, pretty much.
Yeah. Moving into our next story, this is kind of like an interesting one. Noble put this out. People Can Fly entered an agreement with PlayStation for a new game codenamed Project Delta, based on a PlayStation IP. So that last part is very interesting.
That's where it gets the old brain function. Like, what could this possibly be?
Yeah, I'm so interested. People Can Fly, if you guys don't know, they did Bulletstorm, they did Outriders, Gears of War Judgment, which is very funny. But they're a pretty good studio when it comes to shooters, so this immediately is like, okay, this is a shooter game most likely. I don't think it's gonna be Tokyo Jungle, which that'd be funny. Tokyo Jungle 2. If you don't know, Tokyo Jungle is a really funny game where you play as a Pomeranian, and it's like the funniest game ever. I want to play it so badly. But the idea of like kind of a new shooter game from PlayStation using People Can Fly kind of tells me maybe live service, which it's always questionable, but I also think it's like, okay, this is better than having like Naughty Dog do a live service. I'd rather you get an external studio.
Yeah, but
you guys have any?
It's like you get People Who Can Fly and to do a live service, but the problem is their last live service, Outriders, kind of floundered. It only had some life in it because it was day one on Game Pass. And so I just don't know if Sony would be get them on another live service game where hopefully I would say if they are doing it, they put it on PS Extra day one. But now that I think that I just hope that they're focusing more on the gunplay and Outriders was good, and they made Gears of War Judgment, which I think had decent gameplay. So hopefully they're going in for that reason, not just because it's live service.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like, hey, we're going to try to do something with an IP that has kind of been sitting around for a while. We're actually going to go in and do something more interesting with it. And I like the idea of like PlayStation going back to their classic IPs. Now, do you guys have any predictions for what that IP could be? I was talking with Fusion about it.
The only ones that make sense are like
Killzone,
Killzone, Resistance,
SOCOM,
SOCOM, and God, what was the other one that we brought up? It was Resistance, Killzone, SOCOM, and fuck, damn, I can't remember. Either way, Siphon Filter, which I don't think it's Siphon Filter. That just seems like that's more of something
that'd be interesting.
Give to Bend. But that's like a stealth game. It's like I think this is going to be. My prediction has been SOCOM, or at the very least something that's more like militaristic shooter. I could see Killzone, but I'm also like, you'd have Guerrilla do Killzone probably, and even then, like I don't think they're that interested. Resistance, I just don't see a chance in hell because that's so Insomniac focused. That feels like something Insomniac's very like not protective of, but they're like, yeah, we're the ones who know Resistance. I don't know if other people could do it. So I'm kind of like leaning more towards SOCOM, if anything, which I'd be so down to see like kind of a modern tactical military shooter in the style of SOCOM.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be Knack 3, baby.
Knack 3.
Someone brought up as a joke, it's like, damn, we're getting all excited. It's going to be another Horizon, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. It's like, it could be another Horizon. I don't know if you watched the latest Scott the Woz video, but
I haven't gone into it yet.
Oh, he goes on a mini tangent about Horizon in it. That is actually like all of our thoughts about it and how Sony has pushed it on us and when it doesn't deserve it.
I like those Horizon games, but my viewpoint is Sony acts like those are like the biggest games ever. And it's like, yes, Horizon Zero Dawn sold a lot of copies, same with Forbidden West. But the fact is, it's not a moldable franchise. It's not I think Astrobot's more of a moldable IP. And it's not just because I like Astrobot more, but my thing with Horizon is like you do a VR game, a multiplayer game, an MMO, and it's like the world isn't that exciting for people. I think people like Horizon because they like the kind of open world Ubisoft checklist stuff. And the world is interesting, but it's interesting in the sense of like I want to play it as a third-person action adventure game.
Yeah,
I don't want to play a Lego game.
Yeah, it's an interesting. That's how we got on the topic. But yeah, it's like you have this good game, and I think people liked it because, here's this post-apocalyptic that's not looking like a Mad Max ripoff, and here's robot dinosaurs. So
yeah,
that's like
sick.
Yeah, it's sick, but it doesn't need to be like you're putting all their interest on just this.
Yeah, especially because it's like it gets people less excited for the IP if it's always there. You got to let people miss it.
Yeah, but here's the good thing with Horizon 3, whenever it comes out, it will probably launch with one of the all-time greatest games ever.
Yeah, true. It's just like the next week, it's like, here's another one of the greatest games of all time. It's like, hell yeah, dude. That's why I'm excited for it. But yeah, very interesting indeed. That's one I really want to like kind of like pay attention to. Just every type of state of play or showcase. Now, granted, this is a new game codenamed Delta. They entered into the agreement. Tells me it's pretty early.
Yeah, it's more like we're not seeing this for like 3 years, and that's when we'll get a teaser.
Yeah, exactly. But that's everything from the news side of things. What we've been playing, Moon, you want to talk about Balatro? You got re-addicted to Balatro.
Oh, let's go.
I don't know what happened, but I just started playing it one night, and I'm like, okay, wait, now I finally get it. And then I discovered just the vibe of, what if I just blasted my Spotify playlist and played this? And that's all I've been doing for like the past week. It's like I'll just come home and go rounds of Balatro, and I still suck at it. I have yet to finish a run with any deck because I get absolutely screwed over.
It's a lot of luck of the draw.
Yeah,
is.
it took
Like,
it
there's
took
so
me
many times
15
I would
hours.
have if I had just one decent Joker, but nope. Uh, and yeah, my Spotify, and I've been expanding my Spotify playlist just because I've been letting the music
I'm
run.
running out of songs.
I'm running out of songs, so then I just click on here's your daily mix. I'm like, okay, and also just listening to random music. I'm not even really.
Oh, I don't like this,
I
but
don't
I'm
even
too
know it.
deep into this run.
Yeah, but at least I'm discovering some new music because of it. Because it's, I guess, daily mix kind of introduces stuff that's kind of similar to what you've already liked. So it kind of introduces you to new stuff in that way. I'm like, okay, found some cool new songs for this. But yeah, that's been outside of, also I did pick back up GTA because I said I need to play something else. Lost Records is just kind of middling for me, so I'm not too
Yeah, I've been
excited.
hearing that it's not too
Um,
exciting.
yeah, it's like I don't know if it's just because I know there's going to be like a cliffhanger and I'm going to have to wait for part 2, and I don't want to do that. So I kind of stopped myself before the plot really started to kick in. And I'm like, okay, well, what can I play until Atelier comes out next week? Because I decided, you know what, I am going to buy Atelier day one. And I
I
said,
will play
so I went on my
one of
GG
the
list. Like,
biggest
what is,
open world games.
uh,
Wait, how far
uh,
are you? And were you like at least like a decent ways in?
and Lost Records?
No, GTA.
Oh, GT. I can tell you where I left off when I started playing the other day. I'm not. We did the Trevor and Michael where we saved Tracy from that reality talent show.
Oh, you're so far.
Oh yes, yeah,
You're far way from beating that game.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
You're still like in the kind of you
Prologue, yeah.
started
Yeah.
second, third, basically.
As soon as I got Trevor, I'm like, okay, now I'm getting back into this.
Dude, I love that
I
game so
started doing
much.
all the Trevor missions. I'm like, okay, yes, this is fun again.
This or that reality show is so funny.
Oh yeah.
When you
What's
fucking
funnier to
get
me is, like,
Laszlo.
you finish that mission, like you chase the celebrity around town in a big rig into the aqueduct, then you film him in his underwear, and they're like, okay, see you later, Michael, and you just go about your day.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's funny, like that's the person they're like, we're not gonna kill you. They kill
Yeah.
everyone else.
And that's like on the lower end of the crazy shit that happens in this game.
Yeah, I know. But like the last third of the game, you're like going way, way over the
Yeah,
top.
I'm
And I
hoping
love
to
it.
at least like blast through a good chunk of it in the next week. If I could just pull myself away from Balatro and everything else I need to do.
That's an unlucky word, man. Pull myself away from Balacho. It doesn't happen. Also,
But
man, you've been checking out the Astrobot levels?
yeah, I did all of them. I haven't done this week's because I've just been too busy.
Dude, it's so fucking hard.
Is one hard? Great.
Yeah, and the worst part is it's the character. I guess I could. Do you want me to reveal it, or do you care?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fucking Ezio, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about Assassin's Creed. I did all this for
Oh.
Ezio.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I will say the character cameos this batch weren't as interesting, but I really love the levels. But God, they are hard. Like
Yeah,
the 5 weeks this time were pretty tough.
They really said bet on this one and said, well, we're gonna make some challenging levels now.
Yeah, it felt like because like one of the big prevailing criticisms was, "Oh, Astrobot, the one thing is it's a little too easy," and they're like, "Bet." But I'm into it. I love it. Good shit. Love Astrobot. We're getting more DLC, right? I'm still very adamant we're getting a paid DLC. Like we're gonna get like a whole galaxy and shit.
And there's definitely like still the way they're expanding the world map feels like, okay, here's where you can place another one. Here's where you can place another one.
Yeah, excited. Can't wait. Love Astrobot. Soggy Goaty, by the way. It's still a crazy moment. I was surprised that happened, but I'm very happy. Jet, you've been playing Astrobot.
Yeah, so I got my hands on a PS5, and oh my gosh, it's been very fun. Like I'm on, I think around the third world,
Mm-hmm.
where you feed that the lady venomous. It's like the big snake thing,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I'm very like the chicken rocket, the chicken launcher is like my least favorite item in this,
Oh,
but
well, I kind of liked it. I get it.
yeah, yeah, but I just didn't like how it felt compared to like everything else in this game and all these. This game is beautiful. Like it's very much the best non Mario like 3D platform. I think that's what everyone's saying. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, objectively speaking, like without question.
Yeah, and you can
Some
tell
may
like
even
it.
say better than Mario. I'm some people.
Yeah,
Slow down some people.
yeah. And, I mean, it literally took mechanics from there where it wasn't even being subtle about it. Like, there's one part where it's literally the Mario 64 Bowser boss fight.
Oh my, yeah, no, it's awesome, dude. They
Yeah,
take so much inspiration from like just not even just Mario, but 3D platformers of old, and I really love that about that game. I
yeah,
love that game, man.
and
The fact is, like, I still just go back to it, just like I just want to like play a random level just to feel
yeah.
something.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, and it's my favorite part is how much replay value this game has because like it will tell you, okay, you need this many bots to unlock the level, but then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm happy to go back and I notice, oh, I didn't get the VIP bots here or I missed it, and
Mhm.
like I'll admit, like for some levels I will search it up like where they are
No, that's
just
fair. I
because like
mean, there's that
yeah,
bird at the start of a level that you could
oh
just
yeah,
like spend some coins and find out. But I get if you're like low on coins, it's like, I'll just look it up. I get it.
yeah. But yeah, that's been fun. And then in terms of other stuff I've been playing, I've also been playing Blautra, but instead of on the Steam Deck on an Xbox.
Hmm.
And oh, and and of course Split Fiction.
Yeah. So
I've
this
been
is what you wanted to come to the store or the not the store, the fucking podcast. You specifically asked me. It's like, yo, we got to talk about this game.
yeah,
Tell me about it.
and oh, it's been really fun. So I've been playing with one of our mutual friends, Nick, and
Hmm.
yeah, and we've been like we're actually I think about 4 or 5 hours in, and man, it is really good. Like Joseph Ferris never like he hasn't missed. He has an insane streak so far with, and has unique, this unique, I guess, how do I describe it? Like this unique genre of game where it requires two people to play, no more, no less, and and it's like it's beautiful. Like It Takes Two was really fun because it took inspiration from so many other games. It felt like you
Yeah.
were playing several different genres, and Split Fiction does that, but takes it to another level. And one
Hmm.
thing they added that's really cool is that there's also side quests, and we've been doing
I've been hearing about that. Yeah. The
yeah,
side
every
quests are
side quest that comes
incredible,
in our way.
dude.
And
It sounds
those
awesome.
are yeah, it's been really cool. And also that some of the humor in this game is really, really funny. Without spoiling too much, you might have seen this clip that's been going around where there's a scene that's like closer to the beginning where
Yeah.
one person's flying and the other person's doing something, and it's the funniest thing that you have to do.
Oh, is it the smartphone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
no, that
smartphone.
that is such an insanely like. Oh, they thought about this game like a lot. Joseph Ferris and that team are so talented, and it's like I'm so interested in whatever they make next. Like whatever they do, I'm there.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, 100%. And I think that yeah, it's like I've also been wanting to at some point play it it takes two or like replay that game, and you know
Yeah.
it seems like a good game to like play with, like, you know, if you have a friend or even just like if you have a date over, you can play It Takes Two with them. Yeah,
Mhm. The game about divorce and you bring a date over.
yeah, yeah, we were playing this.
Oh, dude. I mean, I've been playing like It Takes Two, and because I never beat it, and it's like, God, dude, that game is so good. I love that creativity behind it. That team has so much creativity where it feels like they're constantly cycling through new ideas. It's absolutely spectacular. And the fact
Yeah,
is, like, Split Fiction sold 2 million in a week.
yeah.
Man, incredible.
And they only revealed it just in December, right? Like it was just
Yeah, very
revealed.
quick turnaround.
Yeah, wow.
I want more games to do that. I love that quick turnaround for a game reveal to release.
Yeah, no, no, same. Yeah, it's very interesting, and yeah, some games don't need or are better doing that than like a shadow drop.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out Split Fiction. Hopefully, I get around to it in the coming weeks. Me and my friend, we have that difficult thing of aligning our schedules. But whenever we're playing, It Takes Two. It's like, damn, this is like the most fun game ever created. But yeah, very very exciting to see Joseph Ferris and that team keep going and doing what they can. I think that's about it though. That was a fun show, boys. Pretty
Man,
short
this
episode.
level sucks.
I'm hoping hoping that you guys can have a very, very good week. Any plans for the upcoming week? So we're close to that April Direct. That April Direct is very much coming soon. We got some content planned around it.
I'm gonna beat GTA.
In a week? God, no.
Yes. Yes.
You got to lock in, brother. Jad, what about you?
It's gonna be an Astro binge for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta
That's
let me
the
know,
one.
man. It's some good shit, man.
Oh yeah.
Well, if that's it, I think we're about ready to head out. If you guys want to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, every podcast platform. We're going to be on there. Like the podcast. Any type of support helps. And follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at A Slice of Gaming. With that, say good night, everybody.
Good night.
See ya.
Nighty night, boys.